And we get phone calls all the time, people asking, oh, the cows that provide the milk, are they grass finished? And I'm like, well, we're not killing them before we milk them. So no, if they're cows and they're milking, you want to keep them alive and as happy as possible because happy cows make good milk and lots of it. If you're allergic to lactose in bovine milk, cow's milk, it completely depletes and it actually turns into lactic acid over time. Lactose converts into lactic acid. That's what scientifically happens. That's why Megan enjoys having our aged cheeses because she can eat as much of it as she wants and she doesn't have an inflammatory reaction, much like she does to lactose or a fresh cheese. If you give this girl a glass of milk, we're in trouble. However, if you give her any cheese that's aged over 18 months is naturally lactose-free.
I still eat it.
Yeah, so we do cheddar, Gouda, Havarti, Brie. 𝐏𝐡𝐨𝐧𝐞 is a cream cheese that we make that's very similar to Boursin, but better than Boursin because it actually won Best Cream Cheese in Canada.
Wow.
And Best Lactic Ripened Cheese in British Columbia, which means Best Cream Cheese in British Columbia. If you feel like your brie doesn't have a lot of flavor, I would recommend letting it age longer. You can even try leaving it out overnight, like at room temperature. Like if you think back to your grandma cutting the white mold off the cheese, being like, it's fine, and making you eat it, she was right. Have a piece of cheese right before bed. You won't get a hangover.
No way.
No, I made that up.
Okay. Welcome. This is live from Langley BC, where we talk to local residents and business owners about news and events going on all around the Lower Mainland. I'm your co-host, Dan, local realtor.
And I'm Megan, owner of the local space.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment, like, and subscribe. And if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Music, just leave us a comment, please. Yeah. And thank you to anyone who's done that because it really keeps us going. Today we're joined by a fifth-generation farmer and a co-founder of the Golden Ears Cheesecrafters. This is Emma.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome. Welcome,
Thank
Emma.
you. Thanks so much.
I almost called you Gemma before. She's like, not Gemma.
It's a cross between, mine and my sister's name, actually. Yes, and then a cheese that we have. So Emma
Awesome.
and Jenna, just Gemma. You just put them together.
Yeah. Flows well together. So, for anyone who doesn't know you, maybe brush on who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so obviously, like you said, fifth-generation farming family. So our family's been farming in Maple Ridge since 1902, so it's been over 100 years. So my sister and I are just very involved in food and feeding people locally with natural ingredients is near and dear to our hearts. So we often host family in our own homes. So we wanted to kind of extend the family legacy of farming and do something that was value added to what our family has always done, which was dairy farming. So we started using Jersey cow milk to make fresh natural cheeses the artisan way, so very old-fashioned. And we sell it in our store, and then we've got a big viewing window as well, so people can watch it right there and see it being made. So it really brings the roots of how food is supposed to be made and what you're supposed to be feeding your families.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. So you have a crowd there all the time watching you make cheese?
Oh, gosh, no. Our cheesemakers wouldn't love that. But we do often have people sitting. We actually put a little bar up against the window so you can sit there and watch. We have kids that'll often sit and eat their gelato cones or have their lunch and watch the cheesemakers. And they'll put some cool things in front of the window, some different forms and molds and scooping techniques that they're doing. They'll do them slowly and watch the kids. So it's good to kind of see. It's a very transparent business in that sense.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. And what are some of those techniques then for?
A lot of natural techniques include a lot of by hand. Everything is kind of like any baker would know that everything is by hand, by feel. So the humidity changes, the temperature in the room will change it, the season will change it, what the cows are, if they're in a colder climate or a warmer climate, their fat content changes. So making cheese is not, you can't just add and follow the recipe and you can have cheese, but if you are feeling the product, much like dough, you know when the yeast is full and it's ready and it's fully proofed and it needs to go in the oven. Sometimes it's going to be shorter or longer. So by feel is really an old traditional technique, but we kind of do that and then lots of physical hand labor. So it's lots of flipping and we've got 6 kilo wheels that we're actually a team of all women at the moment, and they go into the back and flip over these 6-kilo wheels of cheese, and there's thousands of them. So it's a lot of work.
That's a workout.
It's very laborious. Yeah, a lot of people really romanticize cheese making, and they're like, oh, it sounds so nice, and sprinkle this here and sprinkle that there. But it's really it's hot in that room, and they're sweating, and they're working hard to literally make your cheese.
That's awesome. Well, that adds the flavor.
It does add the flavor of love and a little bit of sweat. I'm just kidding. No sweat. The flavor
Blood,
of
sweat,
love.
and tears.
Cheese chores is what we call it. Cheese chores, cheese love.
It's like flipping the wheels, kind of like flipping that tire during those workouts, you know?
Yeah, almost. Yeah, you're flipping. Sometimes they'll stack 2 at a time. We used to have races where they would see how many rows you can get done, and you'd race the other person if they're doing the same amount of rows at the same time. So
the winner gets a wheel of cheese.
Yeah, we don't do that anymore because we don't want anyone to hurt themselves. But yeah, the winner gets a wheel of cheese. Yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
Well, before we get too into the cheese, why don't we just take it back a bit? Because we haven't had anybody on that's been, so
very curious what you're about to say. You keep on smirking. Like, what is about
well,
to happen
it's just about Maple Ridge. I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. We haven't had anybody who's been so deep rooted in Maple Ridge before. That's pretty cool.
Actually, being from Maple Ridge, that's how I met Megan. Megan worked at a seniors home that's just up the street, like minutes from us, a 10-minute walk.
Wow.
And she used to plan events for the seniors
Really
company.
awesome
So they would come down, and I would give them a little cheese tour and stuff. And then while they were having their coffee and tea, Megan and I would chat. And then eventually she started the local space. But that's how our friendship and our connection kind of began. So she's actually been a vital part of our far success, if
That's
you want to
awesome.
call it
Built
that.
their old website.
She did.
I fixed their new one because they had a bad website developer.
But yeah, we've had some experiences, but
Awesome. That's cool. That's awesome. I didn't know that you had that side of you. That's cool.
well, she's always been
Seniors?
a local.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Taking care of seniors, sure. I don't know.
I didn't really take care of them.
She
Toward
can be
them.
caring.
Yeah.
Toward them around.
Can I? With
Oh,
the
yeah.
way you laughed. I don't know
She
how to
can
feel.
be.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, that's cool about Maple Ridge. But growing up there, how was that?
Awesome. We left our front door unlocked. It's a beautiful place. I mean, we lived on a farm.
So you were there
we had
before the
space.
ferries. Or not the ferries, sorry.
The
before the
bridges.
bridge.
Oh, well before the bridge.
Bridge hasn't been there that long.
Yeah.
Like
That's what I mean. Yeah, I mean.
like early 2010.
Yeah, like I was already graduated and stuff and
Somewhere in
moving out here
there?
when it happened.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Well, oh yeah, like kicking it old school, like Albion Ferry to get over to Fort Langley. That was like the exciting thing to do, to get out of Maple Ridge. That's what you were doing for the day. You were taking the Albion Ferry, maybe walking up into town, especially if
Into
you couldn't
Fort
drive.
Langley?
Into
Yeah, I
Fort
guess that's Fort
Langley. That
Langley.
was that was our thing in Maple Ridge. That was our thing to do.
That's
I wasn't
his
really a
thing.
mall girl, so that was my thing, heading out to Fort Langley. When it was old school, though, when it was little and small and quaint, and now it's much bigger and developed, and it's still lovely. I still like going to that area. But now it's a drive
Yeah.
to get there.
Yeah, no, so fast. It's like
Mhm.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember going over to Maple Ridge when I was younger on the ferry for camping. We go to Golden Ears.
Yeah.
That was a fun thing. we
That's
do
why we're
every
called
year.
Golden Ears Cheesecrafters, because we're literally we're off of what would be called now Golden Ears Way, which also turns into Abernathy, but technically our address is 128th Avenue. But it's all of those streets combined as the same street, kind of. But you
Love that.
pass us on the way to the lake. So it's a
Oh.
perfect spot to stop and either grab a meal, grab lunch, or grab a charcuterie board to take to the lake with you. Lunch to go. We sell bags of ice. We've got we're probably the closest spot to shop to grab like a pack of bacon or like anything that you forgot while you're.
Okay, so you have a
Fun,
bunch
so-
of different things at the.
Yeah, it's a
farm.
full retail store. So we have a 1,500 square foot retail store that features local products. So the whole point, again, is to bring people back to the roots. And they need to either be local, natural, or family run. They have to be 2 out of those 3 things. That's what we require all of our products that we have in store to be. So we carry lots of small local ma and pa shops. Some of the stuff that's shelf stable that Megan carries is in our store as well on our side. And then obviously lots of cooler items and freezer items as well.
Just like a bistro, you can have lunch and
Yeah. The kitchen's amazing. The food, the poutine.
I've never seen it before. That's
Oh,
crazy.
yeah.
I go to Golden Ears all the time.
it's a big yellow building.
Well,
Yellow
it's like, brown. Is that yellow? It's not yellow.
Isn't it?
I mean, the inside used to be yellow. We painted it white. I couldn't stand that color. But, big red roof. Big field behind it. Yeah. You need to make sure you drive along Golden Ears Way.
Okay.
And then go. I mean, it's hard because now we're under construction on Abernathy, so it actually.
Yeah, I always take the long route,
traffic.
or like the road that takes you up north a bit.
Probably 132nd, yeah. That's close by, though. But it's definitely worth stopping at our place and
That's
then
cool,
even
though. Yeah.
like turning left at 224.
The big thing is getting ice cream after the lake.
Gelato. Oh,
yeah. So like that's
good.
a cultist thing we'd always do. So
Yeah, exactly.
Now we know where to go.
Road turns.
Yeah, that's true.
How many of those are there?
How many roads are
No, like this is like that main. And if you keep
on
going down
Abernathy
here,
Way?
it goes
Yeah.
to the bridge. That way to the bridge.
I don't, like you're using that like aerial map. I do the traffic.
You're lost. He's lost.
But like, do you not take Golden Ears Bridge?
Yes.
So Golden Ears Bridge, and it's
the
just
loop
one
around.
road.
Yeah.
It's just one road from Golden Ears Bridge.
I'll give you a map.
I've done that. I've definitely passed it multiple times. I've definitely.
I don't know where Golden Ears Park is, but I know
It's up there. Look.
Down.
Golden Ears Park.
Yeah, down 232nd, and then you hang a right. But you can get there multiple ways. But a lot of the time, if people turn left at 216th, we're kind of chatting with the city right now to get them to give us some signs, because a lot of people will turn left at 216th and then head down 132nd, which is a very rural road. And there's a lot of people speeding down there, whereas we're on an arterial road. So we have 4 lanes. We can handle the traffic, and it's super easy to just turn right. And then we actually have a full wraparound driveway, so people can pull in with their trailers or their boats or whatever, and there's tons of room.
You should be able to put signs up, like all the
We're
election
working on
time.
the
They
city.
just
Our
government
city
people,
is
right?
Maple Ridge is actually notorious for a difficult area to get things done.
Oh yeah.
So things
Just gotta
like
do it and ask for
Yeah, that's
forgiveness.
that's my motto.
Yeah, just do
just
it.
put up my own signs. Maybe
The worst thing they can
I
do
might.
is take it away and
which happened in the past, but
Mm.
now I'm seeing a lot more signs being put up on telephone poles and stuff by other people, and they haven't been taken down. So I might just join the party.
yeah.
I was trying to
idea.
respect the rule, but I guess there's an
Rules are meant to
exception.
be broken.
Exactly.
Speaking of government rules.
Oh no.
Okay, well, first let's ease into it, okay? Because I'm curious. So your cheese, you were saying, you started using Jersey milk.
Mm-hmm.
So where does that come from?
So the Jersey milk is from the closest farm that's next to us, which is one of our neighboring farms. It's technically the milk in British Columbia is all owned by the BC Milk Marketing Board. So it's just kind of happenstance that that particular farm is the first on the pickup schedule. So it's an empty truck. So they pick up there, and we're literally not even 300 meters away. So then they drop off a portion of it at ours, and then that truck will continue on to all the other local farms in our area and fill up with more milk. So that could be Jersey, it could be Guernseys, it could be a mixed breeds, or Holstein cows, which are very popular in North America.
Okay.
But
I don't
getting
know the
single
difference.
source milk is really handy, especially for cheese making. So Jersey cows actually produce a different protein than a Holstein cow, which is actually healthier for your digestive system. Megan and I have chatted about that. A lot of naturopathic doctors do those allergy tests with people, and everyone comes back saying that they tested positive for an allergy to dairy, and it's exclusively you too.
Yeah, I've never tested, but I've tested different ways.
Yeah. So, and a lot of people test positive to that. And it's because technically when you look deep, when you do a really deep dive into the beta casein, which is the protein in the milk, you see, and there's so many doctor and peer-reviewed studies, you see that it's actually not digestible by the human body. So some people have an extreme reaction. They have eczema. They get like allergy reactions and inflammatory reaction. A lot of people just stomach it just fine. They have no problem handling it, and their stomach has no issues, and their skin has no issues. But ultimately, that particular protein is not meant for the human body. So any natural cow, any brown cow, literally, the ones that make chocolate milk, I'm just kidding. They don't make chocolate milk. But I tell the kids that sometimes when they come for tours, and it's really cute. I clear it up before they leave, to be clear. But could you imagine? They're running around saying the chocolate milk.
I definitely said that for a while.
Yeah. I think most of us did. But the brown cows, brown Swiss, Guernseys, and the Jersey cows, which is what we use, they have a really high fat content. Their protein content is completely different, and it is digestible by the human body. So the beta-casein, for anyone that's a nerd, it goes from being a histidine. The beta-casein is a histidine, so you would need an antihistamine to combat a histidine in your body, which is what causes the inflammatory reaction. But if you are doing what we call an A2 milk or an A2 breed cow, they produce a different protein, and it's the healthier protein called a proline. So, and that's the one that's not tested. When a naturopath sends out their tests, it usually goes down to the States, and they only usually test for just bovine protein, which is casein in general, but they don't actually break it down. So it breaks down a little bit further into which beta-casein is it.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this whole time, my understanding had to do with pasteurized. No? So that's a lie?
And that's the other thing, too, is that a lot of cheeses, when you make cheese, you're actually heating it higher than the pasteurization level, which goes to say that's why you're allowed to eat pasteurized or unpasteurized cheeses in British Columbia and throughout Canada, as long as if they're aged for a certain amount of time. But the pasteurization process is sometimes the temperature is higher or lower, than the temperature that you're actually cooking the curd to make the cheese.
Right. So for cheese, usually it's, So it's
we heat it up to, it's like 60 degrees and we hold it for 30 minutes. That's the absolute minimum that it needs to be held. And then we drop the temperature back down and then we start making cheese. But then depending on the cheese we're making, if you're making a hard cheese, like a hard wheel that you have to press the curds, you actually have to bring that temperature up to higher than that temperature, depending on the recipe of the cheese.
And people still have issues with those.
Well, not with ours.
No,
that's
but like
thing.
if it was a different.
Well, that just tells us that pasteurization is not the issue because it's not. It has nothing to do with the heat.
Oh, okay.
But a lot of people also think that there's pasteurization is just bad. But again, what type of pasteurization? There's 3 or 4 different types, and the one that we particularly use is very, very low. It's not invasive at all to the milk, so it doesn't alter it too much. It's called slow vat pasteurizing, and it's a very low temperature, low process, very gentle. So that doesn't alter a lot of things in the milk. So it's a misconception. It's also still a conversation that people should be talking about and doing research for themselves on. But if anybody wants to talk about A2 milk, I'm your girl.
I mean, everyone just relies on TikToks these days. So.
Oh, don't do that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's just you.
Don't take your eating advice and your food advice from TikTok. Look at peer-reviewed studies and actually look at the science. And we get phone calls all the time, people asking, oh, the cows that provide the milk, are they grass-finished? And I'm like, well, we're not killing them before we milk them. So no, if they're cows and they're milking, you want to keep them alive and as happy as possible because happy cows make good milk and lots of it. A stressed out cow is not going to make a lot of milk, much like a female. As we know, our lactation period is very different depending on our stress levels. You're laughing because you got it to look forward to if you're stressed. But you're not finishing the cow, so obviously they think they're asking the right question, but they want to know if it's grass fed,
right?
And that's very different than grass finished. Just means before you kill them, they're
killed on the grass.
Yeah, that's a rancher term that's commonly used for ranchers. Finished on grass, so they're eating grass for the last 2 to 3 months of their life, maybe even less.
Gotcha.
Sometimes a week. Yeah.
That's funny. Interesting. Well, that's good to know.
We're not ranchers. Don't ask us rancher questions.
No, but I mean, I didn't even heard that term before. But it's good to know about that pasteurized because, I'm lactose. I feel like.
And that's the other thing, too. Megan learned.
Intolerant.
Yeah, Megan learned that if you're lactose intolerant.
She said not to say that.
Well, lactose is just the sugars in milk. And the same thing. It's completely different than the proteins. Yeah. However, if you're allergic to lactose in bovine milk, cow's milk, it completely depletes and it actually turns into lactic acid over time. Lactose converts into lactic acid. That's what scientifically happens. That's why Megan enjoys having our aged cheeses because she can eat as much of it as she wants and she doesn't have an inflammatory reaction, much like she does to lactose or a fresh cheese. If you give this girl a glass of milk, we're in trouble. However, if you give her any cheese that's aged over 18 months is naturally lactose free.
I still eat a lot of Neuchâtel though,
Mm-hmm.
and that is not it. Aged
Lactate
like
pills
that.
are your friend. She's their number one fan.
Yeah, cheese is worth it. Or
Cheese is worth it.
Milk too. Like
But you can. There's
cream.
lots of options for people that are lactose free. Anything over 18 months, we have like almost 50% of our inventory is over 18 months old. So we actually have a lot of options for lactose free.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, so what about what's your biggest obstacle in cheese making?
Oh my gosh, the cost of everything. We almost pay the same price that you do for the same liter of milk.
Oh wow.
So you can think that the cost in general is enormous, and then the cost of labor, because labor is almost 70% of our cost of everything is labor. So it's wild to find people, because we have to train everybody into it. It's not like, a concrete finisher or someone that's like does this job and 100 other people in their vicinity do it as well. There aren't cheesemakers just casually walking around in our area. Ontario, maybe, but we did actually hire for a period of time a cheesemaker that came from back east, and he came and ran our plant for us for a little bit because he was the only person that had experience. But finding people with experience is nil and void. It's not applicable because it just doesn't come up. So we have to train people from the ground up. So they need to be really good learners, really fast learners. We have to send them to BCIT to do a dairy processing course. So that labor of teaching someone hands-on, you're essentially you have two people for 3 months straight doing one job.
And for like context, retail, usually the margin is like 20 to 30% should be your labor cost.
Yeah. And even that now labor cost is going up, like labor wage is going up, which is a good thing for the whole economy, but also at the same time, where do we get the extra money from in the margin?
Well, everyone just has to charge more, so it's not going to be.
And that's the thing, and it just it guts me that it's like, oh, we'll just like hike up the price of the product, and it's like, right, but the whole reason that we're making the minimum wage higher is so that people can live. But then if we hike everything up, then it's just we hike this up, we hike that up, we hike this up, we hike that up. It's a vicious cycle of the economy.
Yeah, that government.
The government needs to do something, especially for small businesses, though, because I think we incur the largest amount of costs, and there's actually not a lot of support for small businesses right now. There's a lot of support for businesses in general, but not small businesses.
What do you think you need more of supporting?
Well, lately, sales, like our foot traffic is so, it's deathly slow. It is brutally slow. I know that a lot of retailers are feeling that right now, but even one of our bread and butters is working with wholesale accounts, working with chefs and restaurants, and we deal with almost all the Fairmonts exclusively downtown and lots of other hotels, but it's just that people aren't buying the same way they used to. People aren't going out for dinner the same way they used to. I'm walking around some of their restaurants and they're dead. They've got like 30% of the business that they used to have. So everyone's pinching their pockets tight right now, which we totally understand. Which is why actually we're starting a new program. I don't know when this actually airs, but next week would be June.
It should be a week or two from today.
Yeah, so on June 4th, we are launching, or maybe depending on when this comes out, we have already launched a program that's called Ridge Rewards, and it's exclusively for people that live in Maple Ridge. They have to come in, they have to show us something, or some sort of ID that matches something of where they live, or their driver's license that says their address is in Maple Ridge, and that will get them an account that they will get 20% off all of their cheese until we decide that the program doesn't work for us anymore. But that's a way that hopefully we're hoping that more locals will come in and not travel as far for their cheese. And it makes a seemingly expensive dairy is one of the most expensive grocery items. So it takes something that's a very big chunk of your pocket when you're buying groceries, and we're hopefully lowering that burden for them by giving them that 20% off. So
cool.
You have to start an account in order to do it, though. You have to come into the store and then it's easy. We can track all your purchases, and then we can track how we're trending as far as customers are buying and things like that, and maybe send out extra little coupons and stuff.
Cool. Yeah. Close-knit community, Maple Ridge.
We're a really close-knit community, and we want to give back as much as possible. Everyone that we employ pretty much lives in Maple Ridge or is from Maple Ridge. So it's the thing to do as far as we're concerned. It feels like it's right for us.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Have you? Well, I mean, I don't know. Have you thought of any creative idea? Are you laughing?
For sales? Well, I mean, we do have our events during the summer also that are good because they draw people in. Yeah, we run 2 really big, really exciting events every year. One of them is the Long Table Dinner, which happens every year on the 2nd Sunday in July. This year, that would be the July 14th. Day. And it's an evening event. It's called the Long Table Dinner. The whole table and the tents, everything is all white. And then, so it's kind of like a dîner en blanc, but not. And then we tell guests to dress in either black or white. And the food is literally the centerpiece.
Has there always been a dress code?
I mean, it's a suggestion. It's not a dress code. It's a suggestion. Some people are like, no, I really want to wear this. Last year, I wore a full yellow jumpsuit, although I am also the MC of the evening usually. But it's a charity event. We start off with a champagne reception. It's sponsored by a bunch of local wineries. And then, like I was saying, all of those amazing chefs that are downtown and in the other like Pan Pacific. Sean Murray is a chef there that is one of our favorite chefs to showcase. He comes and he always does a little extra for the guests, but the food that they put out is just, it's a meal that sometimes if you don't really travel out of Maple Ridge, you would never have the opportunity to have. So it's a next caliber meal. We have really cool entertainment. There's live music. It's on the farm. We have twinkly lights and amazing volunteers that come and serve the whole event. And it's really quite a whimsical evening. Definitely the date night of the year.
And every course is a different chef, right?
Every course is a different chef, yes. Yeah, that's important to know. So, and technically, last year it was technically 6 courses and 6 wines. We always do like a cheese and wine reception to start, but cheese and bubbly. And then we have a lovely wine steward as well. This year is Steve Parsons from, I think, Revelry Imports, and he is just lovely. So it's great to see people coming back every year and enjoying that event, and it's for charity as well, which is great. And then the Sunday after is a much more casual and relaxed event. It's our beer festival, and it's a cheese and beer festival. We have David Baudouin from the Dairy Farmers of Canada that comes out and does these cheese pairing seminars that are quite interactive, and they're really exciting, and you pair cheeses with like different brewery beers or cideries.
Doesn't he have like a weird name?
David Baudouin?
No, doesn't he like have some show?
Oh, the squeaky cheese guy.
Yeah,
he's called the squeaky cheese guy.
I thought he had a weird name. Yes. Okay.
But
it's an alter ego.
He is so entertaining. It's worth coming just for that. We also have multiple booths that I think last year there was 26 pouring vendors. So you get a little glass, you get a napkin, you walk around. There's food, there's pouring of spirits, cideries, breweries are there. We have lawn games and lots of interactive things.
And it's all you can drink.
It's all inclusive is the word that we're supposed to use for the liquor.
I love all inclusive.
It's all inclusive, and it's like under $100 for your ticket. And there's also a designated driver option. We feature a lot of mocktail companies. We try and focus on the people that are more, I guess the term that I'm hearing these days is sober curious, people that are just interested in trying some non-alcoholic options. We have a designated driver ticket exclusively for people that are pregnant, for example, Megan, or someone that just doesn't drink in general that wants to join. It's called a designated driver ticket, and it's pretty much half the price. But so you get all of the food, and then any drinks that are non-alcoholic, you get a wristband. So no one will actually serve you liquor, but you still get to enjoy the event. But it is, honestly, it is so much fun. It's from 1 to 4. It's on a Sunday afternoon. 1 to 5. I lied. It's from 1 to 5.
That's cool.
On July 21st. And it is, again, so much fun. It is a party, and it's relaxed.
Both of these events are
in the field. We have a 12-acre field in the back with a massive tent and a huge area, and it's just a giant party in the field, and it is so much fun. You should definitely come.
Field party.
A big old field party.
You have weddings back there?
Yeah. We have weddings. We're actually just today, my dad is plumbing in. We ordered washroom units that are physical, plumbed in, built washroom units. So he's
no more
plumbing
Johns.
those in today.
She would have nice ones.
We do, yeah. We do order. Jiffy John is an amazing company in Maple Ridge, and the man is quite philanthropic, and he always throws us a massive discount for this charity event, and he sends us the most beautiful washroom trailer rental you have ever seen in your life.
Oh, yeah.
And then brings in an accessible porta potty as well, and some hand wash stations for our food vendors, and it's so nice. But now we're gonna have permanent on site because the cost is still high, obviously, for those things. But permanent on site. We're talking about bathrooms. Why are we talking about bathrooms?
Because we're talking about cheese.
But anyways, we do
weddings,
these events. Too. Yeah, we do lots of events. We
I'm
do
wondering
gift baskets
because location-wise,
it's a great
size-wise,
location.
You got me thinking because I need to plan something soon. So I'm like,
Are you getting married?
Yes, eventually.
Did you propose?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
That's been done.
Oh,
Was that planned the
was
wedding.
that before or after the kid?
Oh, it was before, like a year or two. But yeah, no, yeah, I'll be looking into that.
yeah.
That's a good spot.
Yeah, we host weddings. There's like plant sales outside. There's lots of other. We have like a yoga and a pose and pour is what it's called. Like yoga events throughout the summer that we do outside. And yeah, it's a beautiful space, but it's huge. My sister had her wedding there. We've had we've had quite a few weddings there, up to like 500 to 600 people
Wow.
capacity. So I mean, 12 acres is a lot of land.
Yeah. Love those
lot of
country
space.
weddings.
Yeah. But yeah, no, business is good when we put out the events and
You're
we put
proactive
out,
with it, and you're trying different things. And
We're trying to
long
be.
table events do really well.
It's a higher price point. The chefs are expensive to get out, and they don't order cheap ingredients because they're making really amazing meals. Megan's come to the long table dinner before, so she can attest to the level of
It's like going to like a
chefness.
Michelin star.
It is
sort of restaurant.
And it's kind of nice to see how they're all so creative. Like last year,
And it
Chef
probably is
William
not,
Liu.
It's a little bit more accessible too, though, than the
Than-
White Rock Pier one.
Oh yeah.
Or no?
Oh,
White Rock
that's
Pier's pretty
very.
limited
That's
space.
different. That's
Bougie, no? They have a long table at the White
They
Rock Pier.
do. It is. They do the longest
no
long
idea.
table, but I don't think
Is that the one
it's
where
very.
the seagulls were eating all the food?
Yeah.
Probably.
It's very. It's very different. Very different than that. That's a more like. I don't know. Ours is just very different. Think
Yeah.
like upscale farm setting, like flowy white curtains.
I feel like it's like a
and-
wedding setup that you would see. That's what that
Yeah,
is
kind of.
like.
Actually, a lot of people drive by and they're like, "Is this a wedding?" And we've got the parking too, so it's it's very easy. You don't have to worry about finding parking. And you come in, you sign in, take some pictures. We've got some photographers that walk around.
Cool. Sounds exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely add that to the list.
Put it on the list. It's a good date night. Great date night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
You
I'm
can bring
serious.
your fiance out.
Yeah, then
Insane.
there you go, double whammy. You can check out the location for a venue
Yep.
and have an amazing dinner.
Sounds great.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, usually around this time we get into some food. But instead, what we could do is we could talk about the cheese that you make, and then my mouth will water, and then
Like what flavors of
Yeah.
cheese do you offer?
Yeah, so we do cheddar, Gouda, Havarti, Brie. Neuchâtel is a cream cheese that we make that's very similar to Boursin, but better than Boursin because it actually won best cream cheese in Canada
wow.
and best lactic ripened cheese in British Columbia, which means best cream cheese in British Columbia. We also have a really blue cheese called the Jersey Blue that is a recipe that Jenna has kind of curated and massaged, my sister. And we do some other weird ones. The Gemma is like a miniature brie. It is the cutest little thing. That's why we named it Gemma, because my sister and I are both obviously the cutest little things. And how vain. And then we have our brie. We have our velvet blue is similar to a brie, but it actually has blue cultures in it, but you wouldn't notice. So if you ever want to get someone to try blue cheese that doesn't want to, it's a really good way to get
I love
them
blue
to-
cheese.
Oh, this one's like the white chocolate
I don't
of
like
blue
brie
cheese.
though.
That's interesting. Then you probably wouldn't love the velvet blue, to be honest.
But does it have? Because I don't like brie because it doesn't. To me, it doesn't have a lot of flavor. So is that going to?
You're not eating brie that's old enough, or just not creamy enough. So our brie technically is almost the same.
Brie from the grocery store.
Yeah.
Where else?
Well, I find that if you compare like the grocery store brie to like something from there or like another cheese place, it tastes really different.
Okay.
It's also sometimes the fat content as well, the fat and the salt content, because it's like a 1/6 of a teaspoon or an 1/8 of a teaspoon, I think, that goes on the outside of the wheel of brie, and that's what actually makes it grow its rind, which is called Penicillium candidum. But that, if you feel like your brie doesn't have a lot of flavor, I would recommend letting it age longer. You can even try leaving it out overnight, like at room temperature, and it will bloom more.
So that's
not on like a really hot day.
Leave your age your.
Well, if you go to Europe, everyone is keeping their cheeses out.
Keep your cheese out.
Yeah. It does slow down. The colder it is, it slows down the growth. Like cheese, think about it. Cheese is a live growing bacteria, right?
One of his questions is cheese mold?
Cheese has mold in it, technically. Okay. It's not all mold. There are certain types of cultures that will cause molding. It's kind of like we get this question. We don't put any stabilizers or preservatives in our cheese, right? So we get this question all the time when people say, how long will it last in my fridge? And my number one question to them is, are you planning on eating it or is it a science experiment? Because it's not, why are you trying to see how long it's going to last in your fridge? Typically, as soon as you cut a wheel of cheese open, it is going, like, it's alive. So it's going to start to protect itself. Similar to, this is a disgusting assimilation.
Keep going.
Similar to if you were to get a cut on your skin now, all of your white blood cells collect to the area. It creates a scab. That's what the skin naturally does because we are live organisms. And cheese is the exact same. So if you cut it open, it will literally start to create a white mold that will cover the open area, the open surface. So the white mold, like if you think back to your grandma cutting the white mold off the cheese, being like, it's fine, and making you eat it, she was right.
Mm-hmm. Ouch.
Ouch.
Yeah, because you cut your arm.
Cruelty.
Oh, yeah. Oh, cheese cruelty.
No, the cheese.
Yeah. Cut it open.
The
but it's true. If you cut it,
matters.
if you see different colored molds, though, like blue, green, yellow, anything, not necessarily yellow, actually, yellow's fine, but blue or green, those are usually from an external surface. So it's not the live cheese bacteria culture that's trying to protect itself and create a protective layer. That's an external So it's if you didn't use a clean knife or if you had dirty fingers and you put the oils on your fingers on it, you can sometimes see, like if you put your fingerprint on your cheese. I've had a customer that actually brought in a wheel of cheese. She didn't even buy it from our place, but she brought it in anyways. And she's like, this cheese is moldy. And I looked at it and it was literally a perfect thumbprint. Like you could see the lines from her fingerprint and mold on the cheese.
That's interesting. Ah, good to know. All my cheese will be sitting on the counter from now on.
Well, depending on where you get from, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that. It's I think the milk is important and pasteurization is important.
Because I always ate pizza that was left overnight, and that has a ton of cheese, and everyone always told me, don't eat that. It's rotten cheese. I was fine.
Rotten cheese?
It's more the meat that I would be concerned about. I can't say that.
Cooked, whatever.
I can't say that I've done the same thing. We're shocked that you're alive here today.
You've never had cold pizza?
From the next day? Like out? Like you left it out?
Like left it, like you drank too much, left the pizza out, and in the morning you had some
like
pizza?
Breakfast.
I would put it in the fridge.
Yeah, but what if you forget?
If you've ever drank with me, you know that I literally clean up the entire house before even going to bed. It doesn't matter how many glasses of wine I have had.
I leave early.
It is.
But if it's at your house, you want to clean up. So you wake up
don't like
hungover in a clean house.
I also don't really get hangovers because I don't drink too much.
She drinks so much that she doesn't get hungover
You just
anymore.
stay permanently. No, I don't. I just try to not drink too much. I know when I'm done. Have a piece of cheese right before bed. You won't get a hangover.
No way.
No, I made that up.
Okay.
That's a good sales plug, though.
I was going to try that. Yeah, make like a hangover cheese.
A hangover cheese.
That would make wine and cheese nights so much better. That's why I love cheese.
Can you just the hangover powders that they sell?
I was just thinking about that. I was like, we could
mix
just
it with
crush
some
up like
cheese.
some Tylenol and some
that'd be perfect.
blend it into a cream cheese.
And then when you have wine and cheese, no headache.
There you go.
Forever.
Bob's your uncle.
It's your last
Forever. I don't know about that. I think hydration has something to do with it.
Cheese. It's because you had too much Tylenol on the cheese.
Oh.
Yeah, never mind.
Could you imagine if we were drugging our cheese? That would be bad.
This conversation got a little
got
confusing.
very
Well, that's
weird.
how it ends usually here on Live from Langley BC. Did you have anything else you wanted to add? Where can people find you? Because just before we wrap it up.
Like online or physically? We went over the map. I'm surprised that you don't know.
Got that.
So we're in Maple Ridge. We're 3 minutes off of the Golden Ears Bridge. So you just keep going, and that road literally
With
runs
traffic?
into us. I mean, if you're coming over, give yourself like 10 to 15 minutes probably to come over the bridge.
Like from my house, it takes 15 minutes to get there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you're in
Willoughby.
Where there's a ton of traffic.
There is a ton of traffic in Willoughby.
Yeah.
But that being said, if you're coming over at rush hour, give yourself a little buffer. But otherwise, on a day where it's clear traffic or it's not rush hour, you're pretty clear to get there. Yeah, about 3 minutes over the Golden Ears Bridge. It's pretty close. And we're just on the right-hand side of the road. But online, we are on Instagram at Golden Ears Cheesecrafters. And myself, Emma the Cheese Girl. And on our website, 𝐏𝐡𝐨𝐧𝐞, where we have all of the tickets to our events and things.
And you can buy cheese.
And you can actually shop online. Yeah, Megan has helped us iron out all the issues in
Delivery?
our Shopify store. We technically do have a delivery option. It's definitely cheaper for you to come pick it up because sending out a delivery driver to take your cheese to you is not cheap because I have to send out a refrigerated van. Yeah. Or send packed cold stuff. So picking it up is always easy. But things like for your Realtor clients, you can order gift baskets, for example. Gift baskets with things to put in their brand new cupboards from a house that you just sold is a great plan. And we'll leave space for wine if you want to bring by wine bottles, or we have one realtor locally that does cutting boards. He gets custom made cutting boards and then adds a custom cutting board into the basket. But you can order it all online, your cheese boards on your way to pick it up, or call even online or call over the phone, not online.
I would definitely get it for myself as well because I love cheese.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good way. Oh, and we have our cheese subscription box, our VIP cheese subscription box. So
That's
quarterly
huge, yeah.
it comes out. Yeah, it's the same thing, just under $100 every quarter. And you get 4 or 5 different cheeses, a few different like pairing items and accessories and some recipes. And they're the regular size that you would normally buy, around 200 to 250 grams each. Yeah.
What about
The June box is just about to come out.
Like a little reference for the camera. How big is the cheese?
Like a piece of cheese.
Yeah.
A square one?
Like, they're usually
Well,
like this.
we make wheels,
Okay,
so it's
okay.
like a pie wedge,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
But some are taller and some are thinner, and that's the glory of making artisan cheese because everything is done by hand, is different sizing. But generally, like, wheels are this big and 6 kilos around.
You're not getting a wheel.
No. Just a little slice.
Yeah, it just kind of depends on the cheese, but usually, like, I don't know, like your piece is like that big. But then it depends on like
Very
the
specific
thickness.
question that we're really
It would
digging
depend on
into
the
here.
thickness
I
as
just
well.
for the beat
But
for
it's
the
roughly
listeners,
like between 200 and 250 grams. Yeah,
Awesome.
is
That
the
makes for a
general
lot of
sizing.
wine and cheese nights.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, yeah, thanks for coming on, and thanks for tuning in to Live from Langley, BC. If you're still here, don't forget to subscribe and rate us. We make videos and episodes every week. If you want to check out any others, make sure you check out our pages. If you have any questions, link down below. Hit them up on Instagram. Hit us up on Instagram, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.